Welcome back to Rumi Gold, where quiet mastery begins. What if wealth wasn't heavy, but light in the hand? What if your rest carried more magnetism than your rush? What if true prosperity never demanded you prove yourself? What if the whole world chases while you simply receive? What if you could relax your jaw, your fists, your mind, and the current of abundance still moved toward you, steady as a tide? Today we explore money, not as a tactic, but as a truth. Let's begin with this. Where have you convinced yourself that earning has to be hard? In what corners of your life do you continue to chase, to strive, to tense against the clock? How often does anxiety knot your stomach when the bills arrive or the numbers come up short? That tightness is the cost, the exhaustion, the grind, the quiet fear, the sleepless wanting, not just for something out there, but for permission to finally drop the act and rest. Everyone feels it. Some just hide it better. You might hide it better, but you know what it costs: synergy, time, the simple joy of an unhurried morning. Let that breathe. I want to tell you a story. Picture a young man in a silent monastery. He has no resume, no network, no investments. He wakes at dawn, sweeps the stone floor, and watches the sunlight move across empty corridors. No part of him thinks he is poor because he is fully here. Meals are simple, quiet, perfectly enough. His peace, resourceful. His smile, unhurried. He does one thing at a time, yet everything he touches grows. When he leaves that monastery years later, he walks into the world with nothing but presence, and opportunities meet him like old friends. He is never out of time, never out of supply, because his wealth was never out there. That's the discipline. Today, let's remember what he knew. Slow is not lack. Stillness is not weakness. Money can move with grace. When you unclench, you invite it in. When you wait, you're not less. You're aligned. For a long time, most of us have been taught that wealth is something you win through struggle, like it's a battle. Wake up early, grind till you drop. Measure your worth by how many hours you bleed out for someone else's vision or your own. All this chasing, all this fighting, and at the end of it, what's really there? Exhaustion, a body running on empty, a mind always thinking, it's not enough, I'm not enough. That idea runs deep. For so many, the only story we know is abundance comes after suffering. If you're tired, if you're anxious, it must mean you're on the right path. Let that echo. But exhaustion isn't wealth. It never was. You don't hold more because you burn more. You just lose yourself in the smoke. But the world rewards that noise, and so we keep running on the same treadmill year after year, hoping effort will save us. Then there's the split. The idea that if you care about money, you must not be spiritual. Or if you're spiritual, you should ignore money. That split creates quiet guilt you can't explain. You chase a paycheck, but feel you're betraying something sacred. So you hide from money, or you run after it with shame. It's a trap that keeps you frozen, ever at peace with having, never at peace with wanting. Money isn't the enemy. Money is just energy moving, flowing, responding to what you give it. If you treat it as dirty, it'll move out of reach. If you invite it in like breath, calmly, openly, it'll come closer. Let that land. Now think of chasing money like chasing waves on the ocean. You can run after them, splash around, get tired, but they'll always slip away. Or you can learn to surf. Stand still, wait, feel the pattern, align yourself, and let the waves carry you. The wave doesn't punish or reward it, just moves. Your work isn't to grind, but to know how to stand. That's the discipline. Another blind spot, waiting for something outside you to bless you with wealth. Maybe a job, the stock market, someone's approval. We put the keys to our own house in someone else's pocket. But all along, we're the ones conducting energy. What you radiate, you receive. When you're tense, life gets tense. When you're in flow, opportunities move toward your open hands. You already know this. The real mistake isn't laziness. The mistake is running in the wrong direction. Misalignment. Forgetting that even standing still, present, clear, ready can be the most magnetic thing on earth. You don't have to fight for it. What if control was never the door, but coherence was the key? What if you could meet money without chasing it, like meeting sunlight through an open window? What if the problem was never effort, but the emptiness before effort begins? What if every form of wealth showed up to mirror your inner weather? Let that settle. Most of us start our days like we're trying to outrun something. Alarms go off, alerts blink, another scramble. The world tells you, jump in, answer back, move faster. But the modern monk knows, real value starts before the first decision. True wealth, the kind that lingers, meets you before your hands have done a thing. This isn't about perfection. It's never about being polished. Alignment just means presence before panic, clarity before reaction. Not because it's impressive, but because every next thing answers to the frequency you set now. Years ago, I watched a creator shift her entire relationship with her work by changing one thing. No scrolling in the morning. No inbox avalanche. She'd sit 5 minutes, just her and her breath. Her nervous system slowed, her mind softened. By the 3rd week, her routine was unrecognizable, and so was her output. Messages came easier, ideas flowed. Doors opened without knocking. She didn't hustle harder, she returned to herself first. A business owner I know started every meeting with a silent pause, not for show. Eyes closed, breath slow, just gratitude felt quietly. Deals moved smoother, tension dropped. People met his presence like a stone anchor in a busy river. He stopped forcing, he started holding, and money met him where he already was. That's the discipline. If you want to feel what alignment means, try this tomorrow. Before phone, before calendar, sit at the edge of your bed. Feel your feet, let your breath find you. 3 minutes, that's it. Let your mind wander and return. Don't fix, don't chase. You're not trying to summon some mystical light. You're adjusting your dial. When the static clears, watch how different the day meets you. Money pays attention to coherence. Energy reads the fine print. Picture alignment, just steady pitch. You already know this. When you're steady, things line up. When you're scattered, things scatter. It doesn't sound dramatic, but it's the quiet moves that change the music. Many won't notice your pause, but you will. Every room will feel it. Every deal will echo with a quieter mind. You're not chasing ripples. You're becoming the source. Let's sit with that. What if the knots around money weren't in your wallet, but in your mind? What if every story you inherited about wealth didn't belong to you? What if clearing just one old fear today let the current move for years? And what if space not struggle was your real source of quiet power? Most people try to build their fortunes on top of cluttered ground. They work harder, strategize sharper, collect more advice and tools, but something inside still jams the flow. Noisy thoughts, guilt when you get paid, shame when you want more. Stories you never chose, just echoes from voices you were too young to question. You're not broken for feeling this. Clearing isn't about force, it's about making room. Imagine your mind as a living room. You wouldn't invite a guest over without tidying up even the corners no one else sees. Money is just a guest. True wealth only sits where it feels received. You already know this. Clearing out the old energy feels basic. It's not showy, not dramatic, but without it, every plan, every hustle stacks up against an invisible wall. With it, even one honest action can bloom into something bigger, deeper, quieter. Let that land. You don't need years of therapy to begin. Try this now. Close your eyes if you can. Take one real breath. Picture holding all your stories about money in your hand just for a moment. The good, the heavy, the confused. Now pick one, maybe a belief like I'll never have enough. Notice how your chest feels. Tight, loose, heavy, open just. Notice. No battle, no fixing. Now, imagine sweeping that story to the side, like dust off a countertop. With your next slow breath, repeat inside, that was never really mine. I can let this go. Do this with 3 breaths, each one seeing the dust clear, each one feeling a little more space inside your chest. No drama, no big promise, just a small opening. That's the discipline. When there's room, money moves. When there's clutter, no amount of chasing gets you free. Let's sit with that. Days change, not with more effort, but with more room to move. Sweep, breathe, let go. Flow follows. What if moving slower brought you further? What if the sharpest edge wasn't in how much you did, but in what you quietly chose not to? What if the world never rewarded the loudest, but the most aligned? Sit with that for a breath. Elegant action isn't just about doing less. It's about doing less sand, doing it with all of yourself. There's a kind of discipline in picking up the bow, sighting the target, and refusing to release a single arrow unless you mean it. Noise isn't what lands, precision is. You see this everywhere. The man racing from call to call, inbox to inbox. He burns through his days, but rarely feels the weight of his own presence. Compare him to the one who blocks space for silence, then makes one choice that moves the whole day quietly forward. That's elegant action, the deliberate, the chosen, not scattered, not desperate, like a chess master, hands still, moving only when the right piece is ready. That's the difference. Most people train to hustle, a few train to listen before they act. Consider money. Most chase the latest trade, the next shortcut. You already know it's restless. But the modern monk sets a small automatic transfer each week, without fail. That's an action. But here's the layer. Each time it's triggered, he pauses for a beat. He names it. He thanks the moment. There's a ritual to it. He's not saving mechanically. He's aligning his money with intention. He's not gambling on windfalls. He's building a floor, brick by brick, with his attention. That's wealth quiet, practical, and sacred by design. It doesn't have to be dramatic to be true. Boundaries are action, too. Every yes that's rooted in exhaustion leaves you lighter in the worst way. But a clear no. That's presence reclaimed. That's energy stored. Saying no isn't selfish. It tells the world you're not on sale. You leave space for the right opportunities to find you, just like the archer waiting for the breath to settle. Maybe this is what clarity sounds like. You, clear and unmoved, doing less with more meaning. Elegant action. Not a sprint, not a struggle, just the next right movement, chosen fully. The world rewards this, quietly, every single day. That's the discipline. Here, you can set the weight down for a second. Let what we started today come to rest in you. You don't need to sprint to keep up with life money decisions, all of it. The modern monk lives from a frequency that feels clean, not rushed, not pulled out of himself. That's alignment. Tuning yourself before you move. You've chased before. We all have. It's like running after the same clock over and over, always a minute late, always a step behind what you really want. That game is loud. It splits your head from your heart, your worth from your wallet. The discipline isn't about being smarter. It's doing less with more presence. Clearing the knots, letting guilt, old stories, and debts in your mind dissolve into air. Letting stillness unclench your jaw. You act, but you don't rush. You move, but you don't beg. Elegant action, that's the shift. You aren't chasing, you're dancing with life's current. Money is not the prize. It's the river, moving through hands that can hold it with care. It will come to where it is welcomed, not demanded. This isn't about motivation. If you let that change one thing inside you, today, one breath, one choice, one stretch of quiet, not for show, just for you, the outside world will shift quietly, solidly. The granite of your life gets shaped, not by noise, but by clarity. Say these quietly. I stand in my worth. I stand in my worth. I let money find me. I let money find me. Stillness is my ally. Stillness is my ally. Action becomes elegant. Action becomes elegant. My choices are grounded. My choices are grounded. Prosperity mirrors my presence. Prosperity mirrors my presence. I carry peace, not pressure. I carry peace, not pressure. I honor what comes and goes. I honor what comes and goes. I lead from clarity. I lead from clarity. I lead from clarity. Picture yourself beside a river at dawn, a gold light on the water. Everything slow, steady. You are the bank that shapes the current. The river arrives for you. Let that land.